Do you want to hit record?
Yeah, you set?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Fucking yeah.
Fucking
Yeah, I'm
right,
set.
man. Right.
Born set, man.
I'm hitting record.
Okay.
All right. And I bet it still always makes me laugh when I come back from GarageBand and you're sitting there with your hands up. It's
Look,
just such a good reveal every time.
I still get a kick out of it. What can I tell you?
As do I am. All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. CoRri, have you heard of a substance called carbaryl?
Carbaryl?
Carbaryl. C-A-R-B-A-R-Y-L. Carbaryl.
It does not sound familiar to me, no.
All right. So to give it its full scientific name, we're looking at 1-naphthyl methyl carbamate. Okay.
Oh, okay. Doesn't make it more familiar.
No, I'm sure. I'm not surprised. Maybe if you haven't heard of it, it's a pesticide essentially. Its main use is a pesticide. It's a very fucking effective pesticide. Okay. Very effective indeed. You know, if you got aphids, if you got ticks, spiders, ants, it's used in head lice treatments.
Had my share of those.
Oh yeah, me too. I had bugs, as we would call them sometimes.
Well, that's cute.
Oh, I got bugs.
Oh.
However, it was criminalized across the EU some years back.
Along with the borax, apparently.
Indeed, yeah. Us with our fucking standards.
Yeah.
It's approved for agricultural use in the States. However, it has been, according to the EPA, classified as likely human carcinogen. All right.
Yeah, I can see why you would not want that in your crops.
Yeah. In small doses, for humans, it's not all that dangerous, but insects, holy fuck. Insects, okay, when they come near carbaryl, when they touch it, when they eat it, it tweaks their nervous system, right? It's like insect fucking methamphetamine. They overstimulates their nervous systems. It stops their respiratory system from being able to relax and contract. It just absolutely fucking gets them wired and they die very, very, very quickly. It keeps their nerves constantly stimulated.
Yikes.
Right? Yeah. Now in humans, overexposure to carbonyl in humans, we're talking dizziness, weakness, slurred speech. If you're taking on a lot of this stuff, then you're talking seizures, reduced heart and lung function. But it isn't carbonyl in its finished form so much that's the big problem, right?
All right.
Because to create carbonyl, one of the precursor chemicals is something called methyl isocyanate, MIC, right?
All right.
You need MIC if you're going to make carbonyl. But let me tell you something, methyl isocyanate is extremely fucking toxic, lethally toxic to humans. And there is no known antidote and it will fuck you up. If you get exposed.
Go ahead. I was saying, in what context might I encounter MIC?
If you're involved in the manufacture of carbonyl.
Okay.
If you're involved in the processing of MIC, because it isn't just MIC that you need to make carbonyl, you need a lot of other stuff like phosgene, ammonia. It's a fucking nasty substance to create.
Yeah, if anything is going to make like drug or bugs tweak so hard they die, there's probably a lot of weird shit going into it.
Yes, exactly. And, if you think overexposure to carbonyl sounds bad, exposure to methyl isocyanate, you're going to get coughing, you're going to get chest pain, you're going to get asthma, it is an insane irritant of eyes, okay? Ugh. You will stream with tears. It's
I'm doing so poorly right now, and I just got chlorine in my eyes. I know. I can't even fathom that. In and of itself is torture.
These are in lower doses, right? Irritation of the eyes, your nose, your throat, skin damage. Higher levels of exposure to MIC, then you're looking at lung edema, you're looking at pulmonary issues, you're looking at emphysema, bronchial pneumonia, hemorrhages, death. Here's the great thing about it as well. It's almost scentless.
Cool.
You can't smell it. Yeah. The best way of knowing when you've got MIC in your surrounding area, in your atmosphere, is the eyes start to stream. Your eyes start to fucking absolutely stream with tears.
That is so like, what a dark portent. All of a sudden you're like working and your eyes start like watering and you're like, oh shit.
Yes, because by then you see. Probably too late. So let's roll back to Carbonyl for a second, okay? You might have heard of it. It was sold as a pesticide under the name Sevin. Does that ring any bells? Sevin pesticide?
No, I don't think so. No? And I don't have a ton of experience with pesticide.
No, I guess not. Now, Sevin was produced in a large scale in a factory in India, in an area of India called Bhopal, by a company called Union Carbide India Limited. Now, the factory has been around or was around since 1969, right?
Okay.
And as a necessary part of the process for manufacturing Carbonyl, for manufacturing Sevin, the factory had to use methyl isocyanate.
Okay.
For a long old while, they would bring it in, they would import it. But around about 1980, 1979, 1980, they added to this factory in Bhopal in India, they added an MIC production plant. Okay. No need to import it anymore. Lower costs.
Sure.
Lower production times.
Theoretically, makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Doesn't it?
You would think it would lower danger even.
Exactly. Let's do it all under
one. Transporting, all in one place.
All under one roof. So you got that process, right? You start off with methylamine. You react that with phosgene to make your MIC. That then gets reacted to form your final product, Carbonyl.
Okay.
Sounds great.
I mean, it doesn't sound great, but that sounds like a normal chemical process.
Get it all done under one roof. But here's the thing, right? The factory was a fucking death trap.
Oh, boy.
The factory was an absolute fucking calamity waiting to happen, and happen it did. So in 1981, right? And all of the fucking signs were there. All of the signs were there. In 1981,
it's like painting the molasses things brown so you can't see the molasses leaking.
Exactly. And I've got to tell you, the story about the molasses disaster was right at the front of my mind when I was reading about this, which is why I was so keen to talk about it this week. A tissue of near misses and actual calamities on the way to the big one, which I'll talk about in a sec. 1981, we had a worker splashed with a chemical called phosgene as he was carrying out just simple maintenance of some of the plant's pipes. He pulled off his gas mask in a panic and inhaled a massive amount of toxic phosgene gas. 72 hours later, the poor guy was dead.
Wow. I feel just in general, even where that story started, if you're in a place that is processing dangerous chemicals like this that have like such terrible things that can happen, there should be no opportunity for someone to be splashed.
Yes.
Like ever. That just like there should never be a moment where a worker is doing anything and they get splashed by it.
Yeah. But you'd be, or maybe you wouldn't, but you would be alarmed at how often it happened. The next year, January 1982, the same chemical, phosgene, exposed 24 workers to a leak. 24 workers, none of whom had been ordered to wear protective gear. All of whom were admitted to hospital. And the chemical that's the main one we're talking about here, methyl isocyanate, MIC, exposure incidents happened 3 fucking times in 1982, once again in 1983, and early on in 1984. Red flags all over the fucking place with this factory, okay? Safety regulations completely fucking disregarded. The company that owned it, Union Carbide India Limited, they stated in their regs that none of the tanks used to store MIC should be filled over half capacity, right? 30 tons.
I'm going to guess, by the way, so this Union Carbide India Limited, is it an American company?
They were a co-owner of this this facility. I don't know where the company was founded. I don't really know where.
I know that Union Carbide is like a thing here. And so my just thought process on this is like, of course, there's
Sevin,
like internal.
Sevin, the end product is sold in the States.
So that was coming here. Yeah. So like it's internal regulations and things like that they don't follow in a factory that's supplying us with all of this kind of stuff, but is filled with foreign brown people.
Exactly. And that might, as I carry on, as I get to the end of the story, it might explain why you haven't heard of this fucking disaster yet.
Oh boy.
Keep in mind the symptoms that I spoke about earlier on for higher levels of exposure to MIC. Emphysema, lung edema, hemorrhages, pneumonia, asthma, death. That regulation of tanks shouldn't be filled over 50%. By October 1984, one of the bigger tanks they had, they were filled with 42 tons of liquid MIC.
How far up in the tank is that?
Well, the reg was nothing over 30 tons.
Okay,
so we had
gotcha.
an additional 12 tons of this fucking liquid death, essentially. Coolant systems were fucked. Cleaning systems were fucked. The plant did get shut down for repairs for a while, but when they reopened in November 1984, that same tank had been left there still full of this fucking chemical.
So they shut down and they just let it sit there.
They just let the fucking MIC sit there in that tank. So in December 1984, water backed up in the tank, causing a colossal exothermic reaction, a colossal heat reaction, which raised the pressure of that tank to the point where raw MIC, raw methyl isocyanate started leaking out into the atmosphere around the factory. Okay. That leak was discovered at around about 11:45 at night when people were asleep.
Oh, come on.
When the town was asleep. An employee...
I can't believe this was outside, too. We're talking about
CoRri.
a big old tank outside, not...
CoRri.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
By the time an employee noticed one of the concrete slabs bursting with the pressure, which, by the way, carried on continuing even after the gas started to leak into the atmosphere, it was way too late. Within an hour, 30 tons of this chemical had escaped into the atmosphere around Bhopal.
Oh my God.
Okay? And that's when the communications breakdown happens. An alarm was triggered to alert the town that there was a catastrophe, which was then silenced.
Oh, come on.
Piss poor communication between the factory and the police and the healthcare in the town meant that, the absolute fucking calamity wasn't at all communicated. The hospital first was told that there was ammonia leaking. Then they were told that it was a different chemical. Then finally they were told that it was MIC. Nobody had a fucking clue what that was. They didn't even refer to it by its proper name.
So as this is happening, sometime around midnight, everyone's sleeping. What should have happened is big siren. Everybody knows there's something. Everyone gets up. They flee.
An internal alarm in the factory should have sounded as well as an alarm alerting the town.
And instead, everyone just continues sleeping. No alarm being raised at all for the people around town.
Thousands of people in the area were woken with coughing, with severe eye irritation, with a sense of suffocation, with burning in the respiratory tract, in the throat, in the lungs. A condition called blepharospasm, which is wildly spasming eyes.
Oh, God.
Breathlessness, vomiting, stomach pains. People fled. Some people fled by car. Some people fled by foot. Obviously, those on foot had a far fucking worse dose than those who decided to flee in a vehicle. CoRri, check this out. MIC gas is denser than air, so naturally falls to ground level.
Oh, my God.
So children and shorter adults took on the highest doses.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
The gas which sinks to the ground.
That's wild to even conceptualize.
Well, try this on for size. The leak happened at around about 11:45. By the following morning, thousands were dead.
Oh, thousands.
Thousands. The healthcare system completely overloaded.
Oh my God.
Funerals. Official records show almost 4,000 immediate deaths were certified.
Because, I mean, the only thing that people could do, right, would be when this happened, leave. Like, there's nothing you can't spray something into the air and fix it.
No antidote. By the time your eyes start streaming, it's too fucking late.
Jesus Christ.
Within 2 weeks, 8,000 died.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. In 2014, right, a report in a medical journal, this is a quote, A spokesperson for the Bhopal Medical Appeal, which runs free health clinics for survivors, right, was quoted as saying an estimated 120,000 to 150,000 survivors still to this day struggle with serious medical conditions, including nerve damage, gynecological disorders, growth problems, respiratory issues, birth defects, and wildly elevated rates of cancer and tuberculosis. To this day, the ecology, the economy, the infrastructure, the environment of that region are totally fucked.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not be? Like, given that's 35 years ago, 37 years ago, or whatever.
Yeah.
Still, something like that.
Yeah.
You've killed off a good chunk of the population of the area. And I'm sure that was probably that place employed a lot of people too.
Within days, barren trees, wildlife, bloated corpses
Chernobyl,
of animals, littering. CoRri, it is widely considered to be the second greatest industrial disaster ever, second only to Chernobyl.
How many people died in Chernobyl?
Oh, we'll circle back and look that up as we go along. But,
okay.
Everyone knows about Chernobyl.
Yeah. Right? You say it, and you don't have to have watched that TV show or anything like that. Everyone knows what that is.
Yeah.
I am like, honestly, almost speechless about this, because that is such an incredible death toll and just negligence leading to that, and I think the part of this that is so like just terrible to me is that, like I said, like, I'm sure this is an American company. We know that's where they were sending their stuff, and that, like, of course, this is what happens when you export our dirty work to people that we do not care about, that an anonymous 8,000 people can die. And we keep on going on. People were probably like, hey, where's my fertilizer? Or where's my pesticide? Why can't I get that anymore?
Until researching this today, I had fucking no clue that this had occurred. And like I just said, 4,000 people died instantly, 8,000 within a fortnight. Incredible stuff. This is within both of our lifetimes. This is in 1984.
Jeez. And by the way, this is 1,000 times worse than Chernobyl death-wise.
Is that right?
The internationally recognized death toll is 31 people died as an immediate result of Chernobyl. 31. The UN estimates that 50.
Pretty sure the Kremlin might have had something to do with that figure.
Well, but the UN says 50 died.
Oh my God, really?
Yes. It's predicted that a further 4,000 might eventually die as a result of the exposure. So things related to that, but that's in 2005. That was the estimate that 4,000 will eventually die from things related to the radiation exposure. So the immediate deaths of what happened at this factory in India is higher than the total death toll from Chernobyl.
That is fucking wild. If any further kind of comment needed to be made on just what an absolute motherfucker of a substance methyl isocyanate is, in 2015, right? The European Space Agency, a while back, they launched a lander Philae, right? To try and land it on a comet, which it did in 2015, landed on a comet and successfully measured some of the elements and chemicals which were present on the surface of that fucking comet. One of which was methyl isocyanate. This shit exists in deep space.
Fuck.
Yep, it exists naturally on fucking space rock. And we're synthesizing it on purpose to make fucking pesticides.
That's some don't look up shit right there.
100%.